We are live. Okay, welcome everyone. We are live to talk about, does your body ever really betray you? So Andrew, you get to go first. Do you want to
Well,
talk about it or do you want to introduce us maybe?
yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Andrew Gardella, and I
And,
do I lead the body things for Access. And
and I'm Katarina Wallentin and I juggle body things for access too sometimes, mainly in
Mhm.
classes. So we picked this topic that we wanted to dive into, and that's what we're doing. And we'll see where we head and go.
Yeah, I think hi. Oh God, I'm gonna have to hide those comments. I'm gonna be all ADD if I like watch them pop up.
I love there was a comment, there was one comment, a Facebook user saying hi, and Andrew goes, hi. I love that.
um, So I think, when like especially what we do a lot in the 3-day body class is looking at getting people to see how their body is a contribution to their life. And I with this topic, people always look at, well, everything that their body does is somehow like against them, like their body is
Mm.
against them. Um, or it's like they really want to do something and their body's not feeling well, or like I would be able to do this if my body didn't look this way, or like really they have this. There's lots of people that come to the class that have this point of view of, oh, my body is against me. Sorry, I'll close that out. Yeah, I don't know what. Kat, do you have anything?
Oh, ping. You got distracted by the ping. Well, when I look at it, it's we have so many conclusions and so many decisions about what we think our body should do or shouldn't do or be or shouldn't be. And and then it betrays us because it doesn't follow what we decided it should be like or look like or behave like or be able to do. And and one of the things that's so clear to me is like what instantly happens, we go into judgment, which takes it out of gratitude and instead into my body betrayed me. I wanted to go and do this, but it didn't work because I got sick. Or I wanted to look this way, but it didn't work because my body didn't do whatever it was supposed to do when I did this. And that, whatever that is, like that energy of that the body kind of like doesn't follow what we decided it should do. I think that's the very beginning of that sense of that our body betrays us
Mhm.
because we have that point of view that the body should be doing what we decide it should do. So maybe talk a little bit about that part because that's like a big thing where we have this point of view that we know better than our bodies.
Yeah.
And that's one thing my body is teaching me continuously that look, you know, you may not know better than me all the time.
Well, I think when it what we talk about too is with all things in access is everything has its own consciousness. Everything has its own point of view, and
Mhm.
your body has its own point of view about what works for it and what doesn't work for it. And that awareness might not always make sense, and especially to us, a lot of times it doesn't, like to our heads or in a logical kind of linear perspective. But for me, I think facilitating these classes has been a journey of like learning how to listen to it and like see the signs and like take the information my body's giving me and it actually makes sense versus looking at it from the point of view of, oh, my body's doing weird things. I want to go here. My body doesn't go there. But the amount of times where, like, I know, like when I really want to do something and my body, quote unquote, is against me, like I'm not feeling well, or like it just doesn't seem, nothing seems to be working with my body that day. And I like try and push through it and do it anyways. And then, like, if I wanted to go to a place, it was closed or something. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't going to
Oh,
work.
yeah, totally.
Like there was other things in the way that weren't going to work. And my body was just giving me that information, but I was like so gung ho on like, uh,
But what I just realized when you're talking also, it's kind of like the body seemed to have a little bit of a bigger perspective. I was looking the other day about when we actually start to look at our choices from okay, what would that create in 5 years and 500 years? But I've been, this weekend, my body had a cold. It just wanted to sleep. And I had so many plans for this weekend. It was one of the first weeks I didn't have a class, I didn't have anything going on. I was going to see people. And I'm leaving for South Africa on Monday. So it's like the only weekend I could go and like hang out with people here, blah, 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 blah. And my body was like, no, we're staying home and we're sleeping. So the question that really helped was, what's right about this that I'm not getting? Like, what is actually right about this? What's beautiful about this? What is the gift of this that I'm not getting? And what I got is like on a much, not that long actually, but just on like, if I just look the month out, me staying home and resting will create so much more for me if I expand my perspective a month out. My body knew way better what was required right now after like all the change, all the tours or the classes that we've been doing than I did. And I was willing to just overrun it because of all the things I decided that was important to do. And today, when I got to that like sense of, oh, thank you, this is wonderful. Now we actually had a few days of true rest. And now I'm ready to like head out in the world. And that is this sense of, what if I would have been willing to listen before? Yeah, that would have been better. But what if that question, what is right about this that I'm not getting? That's all that's required. That's really all that, like being in the question of what's actually going on here, what's going on here beyond what I decided should be going on here. And then the other thing, so maybe you could talk a little bit about that. The bodies doesn't talk, because that's part of what we talk so much about in the body class. So the bodies doesn't talk in words. It doesn't really say, well, you really should be resting now.
Hey, dummy, you're going to have a month. Like, this is the only week you have off, and maybe you should take a rest instead of going out and hanging out with people, because the next rest of the month you're going to be very busy and you're going to want to have a down weekend.
See, that's now you're translating my body, but the bodies don't really do that. They communicate in very different ways, and that is also one of the gifts.
Like make an app, a body translator app, and it'd be like, did you ever see those videos of like the explaining women to men things? Like they appear like a little angel on your shoulder. We could have like a body explanation app.
I actually think that would be super useful for people to have a body translation app. And I think it should be an Andrew body translation app. You're brilliant at interpreting bodies. So but that particular thing, I think that's where, because it goes with disease too. Like, what is actually going on for the body? Because a lot of times, like disease, or if you, I don't know, strangle your ankle. I don't think it's called strangle. Strangle? Sprain your ankle. But all those things, it's also like your body betrays you, your body doesn't. But so what is right about this that you're not getting? It's like one of the best questions to start asking. And what is actually the gift here that I'm not acknowledging with this? Because we are so linearly focused when we go to thinking that if we actually expanded it into that question, it would be very, very different.
The other thing is everything with my body, and this is years of practice. I started looking at, I started with the question that you did, what's right about this I'm not getting, and asking that. And please realize it doesn't have to make cognitive sense, but at least asking it starts to take you out of this place where you did these things with your body and now you're wrong, or your body's wrong. And you start looking at a different perspective, and that can help shift the energy. But I started doing that for everything, when I was clumsy, or when I would like hurt, like slam my finger in like a garage door going down, or like, a horse would step on my foot or something. And I started asking what's right about this. And I started to realizing that, and the other thing we talk about in Access is everything can be a contribution to you if you're willing to receive it. And so I started, between what's right about this, and like, okay, so what contribution is this body? And asking myself, because it's like, there's been many times, at least now that I've done it, where I'm like, well, I knew this was going to happen and I did things to prevent it. And it's still like, I still, got my finger caught in the jam or whatever. And, but what I started to realize is there were ways to change the energy. So
Mm.
often we look at, you know, oh, well, I want a nice, gentle way of changing things. But sometimes, the way things are stuck in your body, you need a little bit more intensity. And like, the horse stepped on my foot and it changed. And when I actually got over oh my God, my foot's broken or whatever else, my foot was totally fine. And asking you right about it, I realized it changed, an energy that I had that I was asking to change that my body was looking to facilitate.
And
But
also, when you're saying that, what I'm looking at, like once you start changing that part, a lot of other parts starts to actually work, and then you don't even notice that
yeah,
because then that's the way it is.
well, and I think what I like my favorite thing about access, well, like one of the first things I heard that always stuck with me is point of view creates your reality. So when you
Mhm.
have the point of view that, oh, my body's against me, or oh, my body's doing something that isn't what I'm asking for, or or it's the reasons why I can't, blah blah blah. Well, then you start creating that. And I
Yeah.
think, when you start looking at, okay, choosing to change it. Well, what does choosing to change it mean? We'll start looking at, well, what if your body was actually a contribution to you?
And I had this experience about the past weekend where I was facilitating foundation. I was on my way to the first day of foundation, and it had just snowed in Sweden. And I came out from like I walked down the stairs, and then there was this spot of blank ice, like literally black ice. I didn't see it, so I
Mhm.
stepped on it and like flew over and landed, and was completely fine. It was one of those moments where I'm like, why isn't anything wrong here? Why doesn't it hurt anywhere? And nothing, like absolutely nothing hurt. It was quite amazing. I was like, picked up my things, walked to the car and went to the foundation. And afterwards, I really took, like, I stopped and I was like, thank you, body. That was amazing. How amazing. Thank you so much for being so willing, to fall softly, to like really relax in the time of the fall. And then have that. What if that is my reality? Like you're saying, Andrew, like, what if my reality is that my body can actually handle anything? What if that is my reality? And it doesn't mean that if it doesn't handle a particular thing, then it's wrong and it betrayed me and it betrayed my point of view now too. Bad body. But that particular, the gratitude of that, like, because I was so grateful the whole day for, thank you. Wow. That is so cool. How can we be more of that? How can we be more of that softness, relaxation, and magic? So what's
Mhm.
right about this that I'm not getting? What's the contribution here? What's the gift here? And what different point of view could I have
The
that
other
would
thing is
actually
you kept
change it?
talking about gratitude with your body, and it keeps making me think of the thank you body exercise that
Mm,
that we do. And I think we should. I want to do it now. It's really quick,
yes.
everyone. I think this is a great thing that you can do. Like, you could just take this little snippet from our live and record it yourself or something and do it every day, because it really helps to get a connection and a communication with your
Mm.
body. So here it is. So put your hands on your face, close your eyes, feel your face in your hands, and your face receiving, and touch your hands, and your face touching your hands, and your hands receiving. Thank your body for being here for you and with you, no matter what you put it through, no matter what you demand of it, or request or require of it. Thank it for being with you and being so willing to be kind to you. Whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes and take your hands away from your face. How does your body feel? Does it feel nurtured and cared for? What if you were to start your day like this every day?
And it's funny, it's like the body literally, it's so quick. It goes like you put your hands on there, and so quickly it goes into that energy of hello, hi, it's like, are you here?
Well,
So,
and I think because so much of what we talk about is looking at changing the energy,
Mhm.
even if you started every day like that or finish the day like that, well, would that, and you're talking about a longer perspective, well, would that change the
Yeah.
energy you are with your body? Because, and the great thing is, like you were saying, when you're grateful, like everything else just goes away and you just have this space of gratitude, which,
And it and it's funny how we've been so trained of not going there. Like we're more trained to look at for what's wrong with our body than what's right with it continuously. And I just when you were talking about this morning thing, like about a year ago, I created this morning audio that people can listen to in the morning. It's like 10 minutes, and you say hi to your body, and you thank it. And you do this practice that you say, and a few more. And the funny part is, I forget it. I made that audio, I recorded it, I put it together, and I forget it. So I listen to myself telling myself to remember to thank my body in the morning. And it does help. Like it does create a whole different way to start the morning. And we have it available the whole time. Like, and this is the funny, like one of the things that I get so amazed by the body classes every time is how we have this available the whole time. We have these hands, and we have our bodies, and they continuously contribute, and they contribute whether we ask them or not, but they contribute even more when we ask them, and they receive even more when we acknowledge that they receive.
mm,
And that's there all the time. Now the classes allows us to be with it we actually give those 3 days to the
mm,
bodies. And that is absolutely phenomenal for expanding that space to be in. And we've been given this for the beginning. It's not something we have to buy or get or train on. We just are it. Our bodies are it all the time.
mhm. Yeah, and I think I don't know. I was gonna go somewhere and then I just lost it. The 3-day class. Yeah, I the other thing is so often I know what I was gonna say, is, like, it doesn't like, that thank you exercise, it took all of 30 seconds, maybe less than that, but it changed, all of a sudden it creates a different energy where you're all,
Yeah.
like, relaxed and you can take a breath, and it's really interesting because a lot of people are like, "Well, it takes so much time to," like, that takes no time. But
And there is a question, what would it take to have more from one of the Facebook users? What would it take to have more clarity with our body before it use pain, etc., to communicate? So what if that exercise that Andrew is talking about what if it's not necessarily cognitive clarity? What if it is changing the energy with your body? So there's a different space for it to communicate that starts in that space of gratitude, of receiving and gifting, the simultaneity that exercise actually provides in 30 seconds.
mhm.
So whoever you Facebook user are, maybe you could try that. Let's see if there's any more questions. There's a question if the body can be gaslighted.
I think gaslighting is a you know,
Yeah.
psychological thing, so it'd be more that you, the being, you know, can be gaslighted. You can accuse your body of gaslighting you, though. That would my body's doing it to me.
Yeah. If you want to have fun with that one.
I mean,
So yeah,
that's always interesting because I also really, the what's right about this is like, but the amount of people that are like, oh, well, my body's doing this and I don't want to. I'm like, is that really your body's point of view, or is that your point of view about, your body?
yeah. And it's one of those too where we're not separate. Like the being is so much bigger than the body, and we're not separate from the body. So it's a co-creation of your life and living the whole time. It's co-creation of how your body shows up, how you show up with your body, like all of that is not separate from one to another. And that is, I think, where we continuously we still try to separate our body from us, and this is what my body is doing, and this is what I would like it to do, and this is what I'm asking it to do, and this is what my body is still doing. And what if it's really this like co-creation of you, your body, your life, and your living? And and what that shows up like. And what could that be if that is the starting point? Like, okay, what could we create? What could we create together?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you want to do we are actually going to continue to explore this, possibly mainly by the use of your bodies if you choose to come to a class. And we're going to facilitate together in Montreal, Canada, in French and English. We won't be speaking French, but there will be a translator speaking French, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe Andrew will be speaking French, but I won't be speaking
No.
French. Okay, Andrew won't be speaking French either. And the thing about body classes is that it goes wherever the bodies that come there needs it and requires it and desires it to go to. So we don't really know what it's going to show up as either. That's a co-creation as well. Every single body class is a co-creation of every body coming and the facilitators and you, if you choose to come.
Awesome. And it's what is it? March 20th?
No, oh yeah.
Something?
We think March 25th to
the 27th.
Yes, we think so. It's that weekend in March. We'll put the link below.
Yeah, it's one of the, it starts sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not. But and if you're interested in a body class, you know, there's Access Consciousness 3-day body classes and body process classes all over the world. So you can, if you go to the accessconsciousness.com website and you can click down and look at bodies, there's lots of information and cool stuff that you can find out more.
Yeah, and there really is body classes in most countries all over the world at this point. So you could find one close to you where that your body would like to go to. Ask your body, where does your body want to go? Which facilitator, which country, which states, and then go there.
Yeah, it's always been really cool when people have like they ask their body and they end up in these weird classes and they're like, I don't know why I'm here, but this is the one my body said to come to. And then they come and then the change they get is so, they're like, it's really strange. I never would have thought would get this, or I can't believe this changed, or I never even thought about this could change. You know, it's just really very odd and unique, and it's awesome.
And body awesome. Yeah. Okay. So maybe we'll see you there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Oh, Laura just said the date for the body class 24-26. We're going to put the dates under this video so that you all will know if your body is telling you to come to Montreal in March and with me and Andrew. Okay, bye.
Bye.